Hello, welcome. If you're joining us for Restorative today, I have a pillow and a blanket if you want to go ahead and grab a prop of some sort. Welcome. So as I was saying, if you want to go ahead and grab some props, I'm using a pillow and a blanket. You can grab as many props as you'd like, just making sure that if your pillow isn't long enough for your entire back and your head, that you have something to support your head with. So making sure we have a mat, making sure we're warm, so wearing any layers if you'd like, because laying still for a while we tend to cool off. And then if you want to play any kind of peaceful music, feel free. So we're going to get started in a seated position. So once you've grabbed all of your props, go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable seat, and then maybe place either a blanket or a pillow underneath our seat, just lifting ourselves a little higher, which helps us keep a little bit of a straighter back. So go ahead and relax the shoulders, settle into the seat as we close our eyes. Just starting to settle into our practice. Noticing if there's any tension in the body. Maybe we feel the tension in our forehead. Trying to release there, relaxing our eyebrows and our eyes, and maybe separating our lips a little bit, moving our jaw side to side, letting our tongue fall heavy, and then making sure the shoulders are dropped away from the ears, letting them hang heavy, letting the arms fall heavy. As we relax through the chest and the abdomen. Taking a couple deep grounding breaths. You're going to inhale deeply through the nose, filling up. And then exhale through the mouth, release. Again, deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more deep inhale, filling all the way up. And then on our exhale, we release all of our tension. Letting our breath return to its natural rhythm. Now moving into our pranayama or our breath work. You're going to inhale through the nose for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. We're holding here. 2, 3, 4, and then exhale through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Holding here. 2, 3, 4. We inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Then you inhale. Starting to repeat this on your own, counting, maybe slowing down our counts as we begin to slow down the breath. And if it helps, to envision the numbers as you're saying them in your head. Really focusing our mind on our breath and the counting in hopes of quieting the mind. If any thoughts come into your mind, we let them pass as we come back to the breath. Finding a couple more rounds here. And then slowly releasing that as we let our breath return to its natural rhythm. We're going to sit here quietly with our breath for the next few moments, noticing any changes in the breath. And then if you're sitting on a prop, go ahead and remove it. So you slowly start to walk your hands in front of you, maybe grabbing your pillow or a prop if you want to rest down. Noticing the breath in the back of the body. As you inhale, your shoulder blades expand. Keeping those slow, long, deep breaths. Letting the head hang heavy. Then maybe inching a little bit further. So we fill the entire back on the inhale. And then slowly starting to push ourselves back up to our seat. You can place your hands on your knees. We're going to find a seated cat-cow here. So as we inhale, we're going to start to open through the chest as we start to gaze up towards the sky. And then exhale, starting to dome the back as you gaze towards the navel, dropping the head. Inhale, opening through the chest, gazing up. And then exhale, doming and rounding as we gaze down. Inhale, opening up. And exhale, rounding down. Again, inhale, opening up. And exhale, rounding down. Now feel free to stay here in your seated position, or you can come onto your hands and knees, finding that same motion in our tabletop. So inhaling, we open the chest and lift the gaze. Exhale, round the spine, gaze towards the navel. Flowing here with your own breath. And starting with the breath and then following with the movements. Not rushing here. Just wanting to find some movement in the body before we hold our poses for longer. And then feeling free to add any other movements through our wrist, our shoulders, our hips. For a couple more breaths. And then from your tabletop, you're going to push back to a child's pose. So if you want to, you can take a blanket and place it on top of your heels, adding a little bit of cushion. You can keep your knees together or bring them to the width of the mat. Your big toes can touch. And you can even place a pillow in front of you. Maybe bringing your forehead to the prop or one cheek. Just really trying to focus in and get comfortable. Resting your arms in any way that's comfortable. focus of today's practice is to relax, but don't force anything. It can be really hard to quiet the mind, but the simple actions of being here is doing work. If you do find it really hard to quiet the mind, you can count your inhales and exhales. So you can inhale and say 1 to yourself, and exhale, say 1 to yourself. Inhale, say 2 to yourself, and exhale, say 2 to yourself, counting all the way to 10, then repeating. Go ahead and change the other cheek if one cheek is on the bolster. And slowly starting to inch our way up, removing any props from out in front of us and underneath us as you slowly work your way to your back, finding Shavasana. So we're letting our feet lay out in front of us, falling out, and then our arms are down by our sides with our palms facing up. I'm just going to do one reading here. I won't talk throughout all the poses, but go ahead and close your eyes. So this yoga posture called Shavasana or corpse pose is a posture for practicing surrender. In this pose, there is nothing for us to do. We are asked just to lie there, releasing any tension in our bodies, letting go of effort, trusting that the breath will guide us and our body will renew itself. This practice of Shavasana is one of the most important practices we can do. For it is here that we begin to learn the meaning of letting go and all the ways we physically and mentally fight with life. As we learn to stop fighting life, we can begin to act skillfully. Control makes us rigid and tight and narrows our perspective. Getting rid of our armor opens a world of possibility and makes us lighter and more comfortable for the journey. We can monitor our moment-to-moment surrender to life by watching the inner sensations of contraction and expansion. Contraction is a feeling of constriction, a pulling in. Expansion is an opening, a creating of space and wonder. When we find ourselves in contraction, we are fearful. When we find ourselves in expansion, we are in the flow of surrender. Ultimately, there is nothing I can tell you about surrender except having nothing and wanting nothing. Not keeping score, not trying to be richer, not being afraid of losing, not being particularly interested in our own personalities, but choosing to be happy, no matter what happens to us. These are some of the clues. The rest we learn with practice and grace. starting to bend your knees and placing the soles of your feet on the mat. So we're gonna find ourselves in a supine twist. We can go there without props. So just dropping our knees to one side, maybe shifting our hips to the other. As long as both shoulders are on the mat, you can look up or over your opposite shoulder. If you would like the use of props, you can place a blanket or a pillow in between your knees for a little extra padding. And then you can place another prop behind you to hold yourself into the twist a little bit. Wherever we are in our twist, making sure we can still breathe deeply. Coming out of the twist if necessary, maybe propping a prop underneath our knees to lift us up a little bit. Knowing you never have to stay put. You can always move around, shifting around, making yourselves comfortable. Not forcing ourselves through anything. Just letting what happens happen. And now slowly removing any props from behind us. And in between our knees, as we roll onto our backs, lifting our hips to reset for a moment. Taking a moment here, letting our spine neutralize. And then slowly dropping our knees to the other side as we shift our hips. Setting up any props we would like. And settling into the pose. Knowing this doesn't have to be your deepest supine twist. Just using this as a relaxing pose. Seeing if you can release a little deeper with your exhales. Trying not to hold ourselves up. Just letting the props do it. Making sure no tension has crept into her face. Relaxing everything from the forehead to the tongue. And now from here, we're slowly going to start to roll over in the direction of our knees coming onto one side. So we're pausing here for a moment. And then taking your hands to slowly push ourselves up, taking our time coming to a seated position, removing any props. And then this is where you're going to take your pillow. And like I said, if your pillow isn't long enough to cover your back and your head, maybe placing a blanket or another pillow behind it to support the head. Or once we're in the pose, if you realize you need to lift your head up, maybe placing a blanket for more support for your head. So we're going to come to sit towards the front of the mat, resting the prop directly behind us. So my glutes are on the mat, but the pillow is right behind me. And then I'm slowly going to sink back onto the pillow. So my entire back is on the pillow and my head is supported. I'm going to let my arms fall towards the sides. Again, making any adjustments, maybe grabbing more props. The focus of this is to open the heart, however is comfortable for you. Noticing if any tension has crept back into our face. Seeing if we can release. And then also noticing if we're holding ourselves up at all. Maybe relaxing a little bit more with the arms, trusting that the props will support us. Making sure we're allowing gravity to let our feet fall towards the sides. starting to bring your awareness back. As we take our time, slowly, when you're ready, starting to lift ourselves up, coming to a seated position. And then you're going to place the soles of your feet on the mat. And then placing your hands underneath your knees to hold, folding forward, dropping the head, rounding the spine. Deep breaths. And then on our next inhale, coming up, releasing. So we're going to set up for our next pose, which is going to be a supported bridge pose. So you can remove your props to one side, making sure that your pillow or your blanket is handy. So coming onto your back again, keeping the soles of your feet on the mat. You're going to want to support your tailbone with your prop. So I'm going to push into my heels as I lift my hips up, sliding my prop underneath my tailbone, and then releasing down. If you want a little more height, you can add a second prop, just making sure it's soft, making sure it's something you want to be sitting on or lying on for a couple of minutes. Your arms can fall out towards the sides. You can rest one on the heart and one on the belly. Now we want to keep our knees bent for now, but trying to find release, not holding them up too much. So maybe our knees open out a little bit or come in, wherever they naturally fall. Again, noticing for holding any tension, slowly releasing. So we release any hold we have, just letting our body be supported by the props. If you want a little bit of a deeper stretch now, you can start to walk your feet out, straightening your legs, letting your heels rest on the mat. Only if this is comfortable for your low back. stop where it is. You're going to start to send your legs slowly up towards the sky. You can keep a bend in your knees, but just letting the prop support you and support your legs up towards the sky. You can also find a wall and place your legs up on the wall. Maybe you start to feel sensations running down from your toes all the way to your hips. And then slowly starting to bring our knees back down. We place the soles of our feet on the mat, taking a moment here. And then we're slowly going to start to transition into our final resting pose of Shavasana. So maybe you want to move your pillow underneath your knees. Maybe you want to bring something underneath your head for support. Or maybe you want to cover up with a blanket or grab a sweater. Just focusing on getting comfortable. Letting gravity do its work. And just practice letting go. Letting go of any expectation. Letting go of any control of your breath. Just letting go. Notice how your body becomes heavy. And as your body becomes heavy, you become more relaxed. As your body becomes heavy, you release any tension. Now, as I mention a body part, just focusing on that area, finding any sensation and maybe relaxing. Through your right toes, right heel, right ankle, right shin, right calf, right knee, right thigh, right hip, right glute, right side of the abdomen, right side of the ribs, right side of the chest, right side of the collarbone, your right shoulder blade, right fingers, right palm, right wrist, right forearm, right elbow, right upper arm, and the top of your right shoulder, the right side of your neck, right side of your jaw, right cheek, right eye, right eyebrow, right temple, right side of the forehead, out through the crown of the head. And now to the left side of the forehead, left temple, left eyebrow, left eye, left cheek, left side of the jaw, left side of the neck, top of the left shoulder, left upper arm, left elbow, left forearm, left wrist, left palm, left fingers, left shoulder blade, left side of the collarbone, left side of the chest, left side of the ribs, left side of the abdomen, left side of the low back, left glute, left hip, left thigh, left knee, left calf, left shin, left ankle, left heel, left toes, your entire body, your entire body, your entire body. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Making little movements with our fingers and our toes, out through our wrists and our ankles. So you bring your arms overhead, finding a full body stretch. And then slowly starting to curl in and over to one side, pausing here. And keeping your eyes closed, taking your time, coming to find a comfortable seat. So we place one hand on our heart and one hand on our belly. We take a deep inhale through the nose. Open exhale through the mouth. Again, deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. For one more deep inhale. And exhale, release. As we let our breath return to its natural rhythm. Noticing any difference now from our breath from the beginning of class. And bringing your hands to heart center. Begin rubbing your palms together, starting to build heat through the palms. And then we place our palms over our eyes, transferring the heat. As you slowly blink your eyes open. Namaste. Thank you all. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of their evening. And I will see you all next week. Bye, guys.